Welcome, Roast Nation. It's Chris Cordani and Angie Wong with another Prime Roast. Angie, lots to talk about this week.
Like, not like it's been I don't know. Has it been a slow news week for everyone? I haven't slept in days. We've been just covering everything from the shooting and DC crime. And of course, Trump makes the news every 20 seconds. It's a lot to do this week and a lot to bring in. But let's bring in our special guest today because we have someone joining us, Hunter S. Gaylor, who is the board member of New Journey PAC and CEO of Market Bridge Advisors. Thank you very much for joining us, Hunter. How are you this morning, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Good stuff. Well, we're going to be roasting together today. I know Chris has got a nice little lineup for us. I don't know. He always surprises me with stuff. He always brings on stuff that I've not seen before. Chris is great for finding a lot of crap online.
It's easy to find, and we have some of that, and we're gonna play some of those cool videos too. But first, I want to talk about this shooting in Minneapolis yesterday. And I don't like to put things like this on a show called Prime Roast because we roast things here. We make fun of things. You can't make fun of children being shot. That's number one. However, this has been a pattern for a long time. Far left-wing violence has been pretty much an epidemic here, as the left likes to say, in the U.S. You don't hear much about it because when the shooter or a mass shooter is discovered to be a lefty or somebody of a protected class, then the media tries to push it down a memory hole. However, this is just really bad. It's another trans activist who shot up a bunch of kids, killed two while they were praying at a Catholic mass at a Catholic school. So this is a religious institution being targeted once again. But what I want to do is roast a complete jerk we've roasted before. The man in lieu of a mayor in Minneapolis, Jacob Frey. And you saw the guy whine several times. And he's the wokest of woke mayors. This guy makes Angie, Hunter, this guy makes Bill de Blasio look like an alpha male.
Possible?
Yes.
Let's see it.
First, I have a question for both of you. What would you like the mayor of a city to do or discuss when in a press conference after children have been shot, no matter who perpetrated the crime?
Hunter?
Well, you'd like to basically have a guy that leads and wants to keep identity politics out of forensics. I mean, that's what I would like to see happen, right? Protect sacred spaces. You see these church shootings, you see all this stuff, and he goes and starts going off on, don't villainize the trans community. Trans, gay, whatever alphabet you want to identify with, a shooting's a shooting, right? So, I mean, where's the safety? I mean, that's really what I want to hear a mayor come out and say. I want to hear him say that we're going to expand church and school securities. We're going to standardize entry controls. We're going to take practical steps that reduce casualties without, attacking civil liberties. Like actual leadership, that would be a nice thing for a change.
Yeah,
leadership would be great. What planet do you live on now? I mean,
what do I know?
This is Earth with woke mayors all over the country. Heck, all over Western Europe, too.
Yeah, I mean, look, he already has the power to fund security and increase, this stuff and coordinate with the feds on, hate crime and terrorism, blah, blah, blah. But where's the operational plan? So, I mean, this guy's sick, in my opinion. He's out. And by the way, if you actually watch, right, I know you said, this is a roasting thing. This guy is pleading. Look at his mannerisms when he talks, when you play the clip. He's like trying to be a preacher. He's like this just, I don't even know how to explain. You have to watch the clip because he's just trying to be this just almost, over political, salesman to say stop doing this. Oh, just this is don't villainize the trans community. I mean, it's not like a real press conference. He's I can't even explain it. It was just sickening to me when I was watching. I was like, who does this guy think he is?
Well, let's watch this, Angie. I want to get your thoughts on this guy. Again, like you said, Hunter, the first thing he talks about is, you shouldn't villainize the trans community. Nothing about the kids. A little bit about the kids, some of the crocodile tear antics, but this is where he was focusing.
of us. And I have heard about a whole lot of hate that's being directed at our trans community. Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity.
All right, two things. This guy, like you said, he's whining through the whole thing. This is all the guy seems to care about. And this other woman, the bobblehead behind him, she's nodding her head like, yeah, you go tell him, beta guy. I mean, Mayor.
He is. He's the definition of a beta male. I mean, just look at him.
Ooh, those are fighting words. Isn't a mayor's duty to, I don't know, public safety, garbage removal, snow removal, that sort of thing? He can't even get that right. I mean, he is the mayor. I mean, everything stops on his desk, does it not?
Oh, I agree. And here's the funny thing. This guy has been the whiniest, most woke mayor in the history of that city. He's probably up there with de Blasio at this point, maybe even worse than him and Mandami. But the thanks he gets for being woke and bending over backwards to push that kind of agenda is getting primaried by this guy. That's right. His own party is allowing this guy to primary and maybe even beat him. So that's the thanks you get for being overly woke.
Why do people still live there? I don't understand all this. What I'm afraid of. So I think in the first day, right after the shooting, it's only been about 26 hours or so. We stayed away from politics. We just want the families to grieve. We wanted the nation to heal. It was nice to see the presidents come out and give statements collectively without the politics. But you know what? It's the day after. I'm ready to start punching. And I'm happy to see that Republican leaders are now coming out in droves talking about what these transitional drugs are doing to our children. There's just way too many cases, and they all have a similar flavor, right? And at some point, we can't just say, okay, humanity, we got to be compassionate. You got to understand that this is a real mental crisis. And are we manufacturing these things? We are now looking at the drugs. And I know RFK Jr. is definitely looking at the drugs because he's all about that. And whether or not this is affecting growing children, you're putting hormones in them. What do you think is going to happen? Now, I heard President Trump come out yesterday. He didn't really go directly to the heart of the matter, but he did say that he was open to reopening mental institutions. What do you guys think of that?
Hunter,
I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, the fact that, a lot of the conservatives have always, if you take someone like Alex Jones, or they're putting drugs in the water or chemicals in the water, it's turning the frogs gay. And now we're actually getting proof of that now that we have someone in a position to where he can expose this, like what RFK is doing. And, I do think it's right. I do think that they should be taking steps to, get these people into areas to where they're not a threat to the community. This person clearly had a mental problem. You saw it in the rants that are now coming out. And Angie, you're totally right. I agree with you. You give time for the grieving families, but now we need to get down to brass tacks. And the brass tacks is look at all of the videos that are coming out of this person on social media. Look at the doctrine whatever the trans was saying. And it's like, why aren't we identifying these issues quicker? Why aren't we reporting this stuff quicker? If I'm running around the street saying, hey guys, I'm going to come to the school tomorrow and I'm going to shoot it up, and I'm posting it on X and Facebook and I'm doing it day after day after day, don't you think that warrants, action on behalf of the observant community? But it's almost like we've been so pacified, and this is just my opinion, this is my view, is like, have we been so pacified as a society that if you say anything, they're going to come at you. And so therefore I'm just going to mind my own business, and I'm going to put, just have tunnel vision and don't look over here. But because if I say something and I criticize it, then I'm going to get, busted up for something or accused for something, which is what we saw with the girl in Scotland. It's what we're seeing in all of these other things. I mean, we just saw it in New York with the skateboarder guy, right? A knife wielding guy is coming at someone, and I defend myself, but then I'm going to get arrested. That's ridiculous. And so yeah. I think that there needs to be an entire cultural shift on the way that we as a community interact with one another. And you're in the airport. What do they always say? Or in the subways, if you see something, say something. Well, now it's like if you see something and you say something, you get in trouble for it.
Yeah,
Right,
and that's
right.
Blue City policies. Chris, I just want to ask, I mean, like, do we reach a tipping point here? Because I would imagine that an FBI profiler would identify all of these check marks, like all these signs. We're probably pinging off, the Richter scale here on this guy.
We can
girl.
figure it out. It took a long enough time for these people, for the people in Minneapolis, to reveal the identity of the person. And of course, we're not. There was some leaks about the manifesto or somewhat. And I'm never sure about these things when they come out, but a lot of this is hidden and going to be hidden. So when you hear the name and the identity and the life history, let's put it this way: the shooter was a right-wing Trump supporter if, in fact, every bit of this guy's history and his name and his family, his address, and everything is released almost immediately. When the details are hidden, it's a protected class, and that's what's happening right now. That's what's been happening. Yeah, they're trying to pull a few things out there. Yeah, there were some things on the internet, but again, the true motives behind this, the media, the city, and the woke types are going to try to cover up. And Hunter, you did mention this incident in Scotland, and this is one of the most disgusting things I've seen. Americans, watch Britain. Watch what the Labour Party is doing. Watch what the leftists there are doing. Watch what the Sadiq Khans and Keir Starmers of the world are doing over there, because the American left wants to do that when they get back in power. They're curtailing free speech. They're giving you, the police are giving you talking tos if you say something mean on the internet or hang up your own nation's flag. And yes, 14-year-old girls who defend their 12-year-old sisters get arrested for keeping them from a migrant predator. You've seen this video. I'm going to play it anyway.
Yes, you have a knife.
I'm fucking wealthy. You're fucking fighting kids.
Why are you fucking with us?
You're fucking kid bashers.
Show the knife. Show the knife.
Get
Show
the
the
fuck
knife.
away from us.
Show the knife. Show the knife.
You see, here's the thing. You hear this guy saying, shoot a knife, shoot a knife, shoot a knife, while he's videotaping this whole thing, trying to get this girl in trouble, which, by the way, he did. The police arrested this 14-year-old girl because she was defending her 12-year-old sister from a filthy, let's just say filthy savage, if you will. I'm going to say it that way. He's a migrant. He's a horrible, he was trying to, let's say, predate a 12-year-old girl. 12-year-old girl. Cultural enrichment, I suppose, right?
That's it. That's it. Show the knife. Show the knife. That's it.
Don't fucking touch my little sister. She had fucking 12. We're not fucking touching. She has fucking 12 and you're just bastard.
So basically, she gets charged by the police for carrying a bladed weapon. Now, I was doing a little dive into some of the local media in Scotland and Britain, and you'll see the articles that just said, like this one, the youngster was dealt with in Dundee at the weekend. A teenage girl has been charged with police after allegedly being caught brandishing a bladed weapon in the middle of the street. Rarely did I see the reason for it. Rarely was it reported in any of these stories that it was because a migrant was trying to attack her 12-year-old sister.
We're in crazy land. I mean, I don't know where we are anymore. I don't even know how to prime roast this, because it is horrible. It is horrible that you can't protect yourself without getting yourself in trouble. It's always the other person who's the victim. Where are we? And why would our media do this? Why would our courts support this? And it's like, when did all this flip? Because I remember a world of sanity not so long ago, but it literally, I would say, since COVID, I don't know. I don't recognize any of this, by the way, because I am from the media. I've been in the media for over 20 years. We would never report on a story like this, protecting the other side like this. I just don't know where we are anymore.
Well, look, at the end of the day, I stand on the side of the little girl. I mean, if the cops can't do their job and protect migrant predators, okay, that are there probably illegally, going after a 12-year-old, I'm all for her. And you know what? If she ever watches the Prime Roast, I would like to hire her personally as a spokesperson for a knife company in America. Right?
Maybe bodyguard. How about that?
Yeah, or I mean, you know, the fact of the matter is if the fact that a 12-year-old girl has to take matters into her own hands, or a 14-year-old girl has to take matters into her own hands to protect, where's the actual security? Now, I'll tell you, I travel extensively, and Europe is in for a rude awakening, because these people that are coming over, and you played the clip of the other guy that's running for mayor in Minneapolis. He's Somali. I think he's a Somalian as well.
Omar Fateh.
Yeah, Omar Fateh. And the rally, there was one of the rallies, and all of the attendees, it wasn't even in English. And if that's happening in Minneapolis, okay, in the middle of our country, and look at what's happening over in Europe, in London, which is unrecognizable now because of all the people going in. I think people need to wake up, because these people are not coming because they want good jobs and health care and all that. They want your head, because these people are they're not civilized, okay? They are not assimilated people, right? And they need to wake up, because these people don't care about the rights. They don't care about the police. They don't care about the rules. They're here to listen. They'll come for your heads. They don't care. And that's the fact of the matter. So, I mean, you know, we need to protect our Second Amendment as much as possible here in the United States, because when you import the third world, you become the third world. And I refuse to live in that type of country and that type of environment where, you know, my future daughter can't walk around without having to carry a battle axe with her. You know,
well, you hit this on the head, Hunter. You did hit this on the head, because all these wokies are trying to run these blue cities. Minneapolis, we talked about them before, but they're in a special case. It's woke versus woke over there. But the problem is, what people don't realize, there are two major issues that a lot of the regular people there, the citizens there, that want to see dealt with. That would be obviously number one, the crime, and in that and other major cities. The other problem is there's an epidemic going around in Minneapolis where it's so cold that when people throw their hat up in the air, it freezes. They want their mayor to take care of that.
Oh man, her. Yeah, what is going on in that city? It is just amazing to me that that whole city has been completely taken over. But remember, this is the city, am I correct to say this is the city of George Floyd? This is the city of Amy Klobuchar? This is the city of, like, there's a lot of like Democrat run stuff going on over there. That I don't know, that whole thing was really disheartening. And I think Hunter is right. I mean, you can't recognize London or the center of Paris these days. It is, and I've said this before, it's a slow jihad. And we've been seeing it.
Vienna, Austria declared Sharia law is now law.
Wow.
Okay? This is a real thing. This is happening. Okay. And if people don't wake up, you know, to this, these people are not like us. They are not. Now, this is going to sound, you know, borderline racist, but it's just true. They're not us. I'm a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant from the great state of Florida, right? I'm in the only state where you have to go north to go south, okay, into the deep south, if you will. I'm in a Bible Belt state, right, where we actually still have moral values and principles. We still read the Bible. We still go to church. We still believe that marriage is between one man and one woman. We believe in, you know, the right of the Constitution, and we respect the laws and authority. But the problem is it's very, very hard for someone that wants to call themselves a patriot like I do to, you know, turn a blind eye to the fact that we do not have law and order in these Democrat states, and that they're being run over. We are being run over as a country with these illegals coming in. And so when Trump turns around and says, hey, ICE, I want these people to go, right? Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get them out of here. We don't want you here, right? We don't want you here.
Run over, you say?
Yeah,
that, my friends, sounds like a cue, if ever I heard one. It's time to play our favorite game show here on Prime Roast, Protesters versus Cars. All right, let's have a little fun here. Here's a guy in one of those pro-Hamas protests. Your car, right? And they're crybabies because they can't stop somebody's car and destroy it. Here's another one. This kindly old gentleman, figured out how to handle people who are trying to ambush him and destroy his car.
He not going nowhere now. He not going
And by the
nowhere
way,
now.
this hippie that's videotaping this is a former Minnesota, he's a Minneapolis council candidate.
Hold up. He not
He's
going
kicking
nowhere
his car.
now. He not going nowhere now.
There we go. That's how to handle him.
I am so happy that Governor DeSantis has put in laws about this where you can run them over if you feel like your life is endangered, if your car is surrounded by protesters. We need more and more governors to do exactly that. Look, his life is being threatened. Run them over. It's you or them. I like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Who thinks this is a good idea to like go stand in front of a car, right? That can harm you. But yeah, I mean, they're so freaking crazy these days. I worry about the New York City mayoral race because that's exactly where all of this is headed. Hunter is right. This is not about assimilation. This is about changing an entire culture. And through policies, through controlling City Hall, no good is going to come from this. This is the anti-American way. I mean, I love these visuals, but look, I mean, how did these guys get there to begin with? And I think we're starting to finally get to the genesis of all this. Who's funding this? Because a lot of these protesters are getting paid, some of them $70,000 to $80,000 a year. Hunter, who's paying them?
I just Soros, the Democrats. I mean, anyone that wants to, believe in blue-dyed hair. But actually, if we just pause the clip there, I'd like to notice how the people in the street are all wearing those neon vests that you're supposed to, like, that the workers wear so you don't get hit by a car. And I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, I was always taught, hey, don't go play in the street because why? You might get hit by a car. You don't go play in the street. And so, it's like, I just don't know what goes through these people's heads. Like, I almost want to just have like a roundtable discussion and say, do you honestly think that a car that's got 400 to 500, that's a BMW, I think, or whatever that might, like, that thing's got 480 horsepower in it, and you're like sitting on the ground, you think you can stop a car? Like, give me a break. Well, it's like that. It's like that. That very famous. Was it Tiananmen Square where he's standing in front of the tank? And they were it's that very famous photo that was taken, and it's like they want this type of attention. They want to be viewed as like, oh, I'm fighting for something. You're not fighting for anything. You're in my way. B, I've got places to go. I've got a job, right? And it's like you're going to go stand in the road. It's just it's Looney Tune to me. I just don't get it. I've never understood it. And I just, like you said, I mean, our sheriff in our county plus Ron DeSantis, these people in here, run them over. They deserve it, quite frankly.
Well, again, they just want attention. They don't have jobs to go to, so they don't understand the other people's point of view. They don't understand why people just won't stop for them. It just won't look and watch them scream, "Hey, want attention? Look at me!" With the shiny vests and everything else. Look, they're so busy gaming in their mom's basement for 72 to 84 hours straight that they don't even have any social skills. They can't even figure out how to have their voices heard without standing in somebody's way, and they don't understand. So some of these people might have to take their kid to the hospital, the doctors, or sort of school, or go to work or something because this stuff is alien to these selfish hippies.
Well, the problem too is it's the wrong way to go about it, right? And I always laugh on it because it sounds so elitist, but I'll say it anyway. But if you go back and you remember Occupy Wall Street, right, which turned into Act Blue, which was Black Lives Matter, and now it goes, and they just keep doing it. But it was so funny because you had all these people during Occupy Wall Street out on the streets protesting the 99 versus the 1%, and the 1%'s literally looking down at these people. They had video clips looking down at all these protesters, laughing at them. And it's like the reason you're in the 99 and not in the 1 is because you're on the street protesting something instead of getting a job and doing the work, which is probably a segue into some of the other topics we'll talk about. But, I mean, this is the problem. They're out protesting for what? What are you trying to accomplish? And how does, okay, at least the Somali guys are running for office, right? I mean, that they're infiltrating. At least they're doing something. They're like, hey, I'm going to run for office. I'll probably win, just like in New York. And then they'll enact these laws. And so they're just playing by the rules of the game. Do I like it? No. But I mean, sitting in front of a car isn't going to do anything, right?
They think it's going to change your mind, Hunter. They think they're going to like somehow magically like insert their ideology into you if they do this. That's what they think.
Unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable.
I think you're going to stop.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, you're going to stop. No.
I still like the one that was a while back. I think we played it here with or it was some kind of, it was the LA protests, the anti-ICE protests, where this white guy and his mom were protesting together and yelling at this black woman who they were blocking, whose car they were blocking because she was trying to go to work. And they're saying, well, you protest, we're protesting you. You can't pass. And she's like, I got to get to work. So these privileged white people were lecturing this black woman who just wanted to go to work about protesting ICE. That's LA for you. But again, maybe you're right. Maybe these people just don't work and they don't want to work.
Yeah, well, that's the issue, right? I mean, now with everything that's going on, I think the fundamental fact of the problem is that we have a society that has so much time on their hands and so much opinion that they forget what work is. You know, if you have to put food on the table, right, and you have to pay your bills, that requires you to work. And these people don't work because they're probably within a welfare system, right? And that's not, what we should be doing. It's the same thing. When Newt Gingrich ran for president, he was in one of the Republican debates. He says, I want a community, I want an economy to where, you could someone can get a job, learn the job, and one day own the job, right? Meaning upward mobility, moving from, the middle class or the lower class to the middle class to upper middle class, right? I should be doing better than my parents, right? And, my parents raised me, gave me an education. I went through, I learned, I got a job, I work, education, so that I can, move up in society, right? But we've fallen away from the fundamental fact of what really truly American exceptionalism is, and that's focusing on bettering yourself, bettering your environment, and bettering your community. These people aren't doing that. It's about emotion, and it's about how I feel, right? And it's everyone gets a trophy. No, not everyone gets a trophy. You either win or you lose. You play. What is the saying? It's play dumb games, win stupid prizes, or whatever. That's what this standing in the street is. It doesn't do anything, and we're so drugged as a community now, or as a country, that we're allowing these things to happen because we're not being a productive society. We're not creating things. We're creating chaos instead of things. And that's why I think what Trump is trying to do is so good, by saying, look, if you can't clean up the cities, then I will. You can't get the National Guard. You know what? I made a promise to the American people, and I said, I'm going to help. I want to make America safe again. And if you liberal cities can't do it, then I'll do it for you. And that's exactly what he's doing. So, and I have no problem with it.
Yeah, and he's doing it because, you know what? These blue city leaders, they've had decades and a lot of federal funding to get it done, but they don't ever want it to get it done. And I'm starting to, this has probably been said before, but I'm really starting to understand it. They're creating the problems to keep having more problems and more problems because they like the funding. Right? Well, they never, ever want to solve these problems.
Right. And you brought it up. First off, you're using the word leaders quite loosely today, Angie. So let's put that disclaimer out there right now. Secondly, you hit it right there. How can you keep people on their knees without legislating to make sure there's a lot of crime and they're afraid to walk in the streets certain times of the day? How do you keep people at their knees without taxing them out of existence? How do you keep people on their knees without making things more expensive? And how do you keep people on their knees by censoring them if they speak, by not censoring them after they speak up? This is the left's mantra. They know that they have to find ways to keep people on their knees, make promises to their cult, and hopefully some gullible people in the middle. You really only need a few percentage points of that to win elections, and tell them, hey, we're going to fight against this. And they never do, because they're going to have that campaign issue for the next 4 years. The idea, keep
Chris,
their knees, and
Chris,
you can control them.
Yeah, well, Chris, you hit the nail on the head. If you're a department and that department secures funding to go after a problem, if you solve the problem efficiently and effectively, then you don't need money to go solve that problem anymore. So let's just keep the problem going so we keep getting the funding. And that's why these Democrats pass these laws and they say, oh, well, we're going to do this spending because, hey, we need this. We've got issues. I mean, you know, we see it happen all the time. Oh, well, we need funding for this. We need funding to help these people, right? Well, they get the funding and then they don't help the people. And then they say, oh, well, we need more funding to help the people. But you never help the people.
That's because that money generally goes to the people who are hired by these liberals to run these patronage jobs. And that's where the pockets go. And that's where it goes right into their pockets. Angie, Hunter, I want to give you one more video before we check out here. We make fun of the younger generation a lot. And a lot of it is with the disclaimer that not everybody is like that. But there are a lot of those who give the entire group of Gen Zers and millennials and soon to be Alpha, I guess Alpha, that's the new generation Alpha. Boy, I hate to go down that line generations down the road and you're going to have a Generation Z. If that's another, and it's XIZ like Xi Jinping later on, but that's another story for another, well, let's just say century. Howard, this particular girl here from Popeyes is upset. Now get this. It's not different from the whiny jerk from Starbucks a couple years ago that cried because he had to work 8 hours. This one was upset because she had to do the dishes all by herself at a Popeyes. And I used to work at Burger King and all these other fast, and I'd have to do dishes by myself all the time. I have to do a lot of things by myself when I was working as a younger person. This builds character. Apparently, some of these people don't get raised that way. And I'm talking about everybody. This is regardless of color, background, or anything else. It's just this is one example of a lot of people who have this attitude.
Bro, they trying to make me clean all these dishes back here by myself. Do I have to get all this done in time?
Yes, ma'am. By 12 o'clock.
By myself?
Yes, what the hell you think you apply for?
What happened if I don't?
You fired. What you think you apply for the job for? What you crying for? Do the fucking dishes.
And there you go. The manager asked you to do a job that you signed up for. What do you expect? To get paid, talk on a microphone, hand out a couple of bags and go home and that's it?
How are you a manager these days? I don't know if
she's
I
not a
could
manager.
manage
The manager's
people.
telling her to do the work.
No, I know, but like I just don't think I could be a manager right now in this climate. I would lose my every single day if I had to deal with this kind of nonsense. It's like, I'm not your mother. Like, go do it. I couldn't run a household like this. I would lose my mind.
My mother would make me do the dishes too. So
yeah, I make my kids do the dishes. I make them like take out the trash. And, like this is all, grooming them to be good citizens and to be self-sufficient when they leave the house eventually, right? What is that? How do you manage that? Hunter, I'm leaving it to you.
Well, look, I mean, I think the cultural takeaway is that work is dignifying and fragility is not a virtue. Entry-level jobs like this, I think they build character and muscle, literally and figuratively. And that our culture should honor that again. The problem I see, especially within my generation, and I'm a millennial, and so when I see younger than me in this Gen Z world, I think a lot of the issue is because of the attention now to platforms like OnlyFans, X, TikTok, streaming, and how much money they're making on those platforms. These people are looking at like, why do I have to do this, right? Mm-hmm. Where's the hard work, right? So it is a cultural shift on, especially now with AI and everything, at some point. And this is why I think Mike Rowe was so incredible in what he does with his show Dirty Jobs, is because there are people out there every day doing dirty jobs that we take for granted, right? Whether it's, the gas, getting fuel to the actual gas stations, the people working in manufacturing, the people working in, in the fast food restaurants and things like that. So the fact that, constructively society has collapsed because we don't have a strong work ethics anymore, you end up with things like this. This is a clear cultural vibe check. And this is not some policy or whatever. If the job application is here, you had to first read it. You then had to take the steps to apply for it. interview for it, then you get offered the job, and now you're complaining about the job that you signed up for. I mean, you know, it's no different than the line in the movie A Few Good Men, where Tom Cruise says, you know, or not Tom, but the guy in the courtroom says, you know, you want me on that wall, you need me on that wall, you want protection, but then you're going to critique the way in which I protect you. You know, so it's like you're going to get a job, right? And then you're going to like complain about the job that you signed up for. I mean, it's utterly ass backwards. Sorry if I'm not.
It is. No, and you know what?
Arse backwards.
Do you think?
Arse backwards.
I mean, and she made a viral video about this of her flying. Do you think A, she's ever going to get a job again, and two, does she still have her current job?
But this is the point.
If she did the dishes.
Why do you even have your phone while you're working?